How's it going, everyone? Cameron back with another video. Today, before we get into that video, actually we're going to talk about a few things before we get into it. One of those being the coronavirus. I hope that everyone out there that's watching the video, hope you are all staying safe, staying out of large events, all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. I know that there's a lot of different information going around, misinformation a lot is also going around, which is unfortunate, but we should do our best to kind of protect ourselves in this time and limit large group gatherings, that kind of thing. I mean, we've all heard the headlines and everything, so I just want to make sure everyone's doing good and is safe out there. So that's kind of a hard topic to leave, but going from that, I want to go ahead and talk about the community garden real quick, just as an update. I was supposed to meet Sunday. I was supposed to meet the guy that is one of the two people that pretty much run the garden. He kind of forgot. They closed the church down just due to coronavirus as well, and so he kind of was thrown off his entire routine. Didn't end up going to the garden Sunday and forgot. I went ahead and texted him though, and so he's sending me the bylaws by email and the plot a plot map, just so that way I can go ahead and know where I can plant. It's going to be a 3-foot by 40-foot piece of property though, just from what he was talking about, and so I'm pretty excited about that. It's going to be a lot larger than I was expecting, so I'm going to get my mom out there and even a few friends if they're more than welcome to come as well. So what I'm going to be doing is just waiting for that information from him. He's going to be sending me the plot map and everything, so that way I can go ahead and get going as fast as possible. So that's the update with the community garden. We're looking good, just kind of a little, again, more miscommunication, but we'll get there, I promise. We're definitely gonna get in there. I've talked to both of the head gardeners, so it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when at this point. The last thing before we get into the video, I do want to go ahead and shout out the Paige family Homestead. Great people over there. It's a couple that's in their 60s, retired, and they are kind of getting back to basics. So they raise their kids with animals and that kind of stuff, and I think they're just trying to get back to that. But I wanted to say thank you so much to them. They shouted me out in their last shout out video, and I think overnight or within a day or two I got another 10 subscribers. So hello to the new subscribers. It's nice to have you guys here. I'll go ahead and put their information in the description, that way you guys can go check them out. They're around, I think, 630, 640 subscribers now, and they shouted me out on their 600 subscribers. So that was only 2 or 3 days ago, I believe. So they're already growing pretty fast. So that's awesome. Good for them. All right, and without further ado, let's get into the garden. We got some good updates and a few changes, a few new tactics that I'm gonna go with, and as well as some new sprouts I'll show you at the very end. So let's get into it. All right, so it's got quite a few things going on, and we're gonna go ahead and try to start kind of where we typically start. So here's the lavender. I don't know if you guys can see what's happened here, but let's see if we can focus. There we go, we can pull the focus right there. Perfect, so that's gonna be the lavender right now. As I had said previously, I thought I was gonna have to pull this guy because he had kind of started to wilt down here, if you can see. I don't know, let's see. Yeah, you can kind of see that down there. But it looks like he's actually decided to sprout off some new growth, so I'm just gonna leave him as is. I might prop him up a little bit just to see if I can get it all going back up again, but maybe not even do that, considering he's doing pretty well as is. So happy to see the lavender's doing good. Moving on to the kale. Kale's branched out into probably, I think another, I don't know, probably another four leaves. These guys, the ones that are out here, are now getting bigger. This guy's about probably 3 inches long right now. And this is a longer rather than wider variety of kale. So they are supposed to look like this. They will inevitably get much bigger though, so do be excited for that. Moving on to our pepper plant. This will be the first one we're going to top today. Growing greens with Jeff. Or growing stuff with Jeff, I should say. He didn't have my name. We're close though. So growing stuff with Jeff actually it advised me to do this, and I hadn't even thought about it, so that was an awesome suggestion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna count leaves. We're not gonna count these guys down here, but so we're gonna do, let's see if we can get a focus first. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're gonna count 1. So we got the second set 2, and if you can get in there, another 3 right there. What we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm actually gonna give it 8 pairs I'm just gonna prick off this little part right there. So I know that may seem drastic to take off a good amount right there, but that's the point at which it would naturally have started. Go ahead and focus again. All right, there we go. You can kind of see that there now. That's going to be the point where he was actually going to start to branch off into the Y formation. And if we had continued as is, he would have just gotten really, really lanky. There we go. Try to make sure that's constantly in focus. Sorry about that, though. It would have been constantly lanky, and inevitably it would have either had to have supports or some sort of system to help it not just kind of fall over. It doesn't have to worry about the wind and external conditions, but it does still have to worry about fruit and how to sustain the fruit on the vine, or on the off of the stems and everything. So it would have been quite tricky to do that in its current status. Secondly, and a little bit more of an aggressive pruning will be this guy over here. So this is the Anaheim, as we did the jalapeno previously. So 2, 4, 6, and then 8. So I'm actually going to cut him right there. I don't think I can do it with my fingernail. Yeah, so I'm going to go get some scissors. I'll be right back. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut right there. And I know that's even more growth to take off, but now he's still got a good 3 or 4 sets of leaves to grow off of, and you can see, let's see if I can focus on it really, really nicely. Alright, as you can see from these 2 spots, actually, we've already got growth, but since all the growth hormone is focused towards the tip growing taller, and now it can't do that, it's going to start budding out every single place it's got a little node, as you can see. So we've got down there, even down here. So this is what's going to encourage the pepper plants to become bushier plants, which is exactly what we want to be able to sustain heavier growth and more produce on the branches. So I'm super excited about that. Thanks again, Jeff, for pointing that out. I'm surprised that slipped my mind, because I was constantly commenting to my roommate about how tall this guy was getting in comparison to the Alright, sorry about that. My battery just died, and so I am getting right back into it. As we were saying, though, the jalapeno, it might just be its growth cycle. I'm not a pepper expert. I'm not going to pretend to be. So maybe that's just the way. I mean, I know jalapenos are probably 1/3 to 1/4 of the size of full-grown Anaheims as well, so I know this plant probably has to be bigger in order to sustain growth. But we're going to go ahead and put him up there, because at this point, at least, he's probably going to be benefiting more from light leakage from underneath, as well as trying to grow up towards these lights up here. Alright, and last but not least, certainly not least, we have our cucumber plant. And as you can see, I'll mention a little bit more at the end of the video, but I did go ahead and use some of that chalk spray paint to make the entire bottles blacked out. I'm a real fan of this look, as well as the functionality of it. So I'm super excited at where it kind of came out the way I wanted it to. So let's kind of go through and see if we can. There. So we got 1. We've got 2. There's a 3rd right there to the left of that one. There's 1 right through there, if you can see. And then if we move up, we have a few more down there, but they're a little bit trickier to see. We've got 2 more right there. And this guy is just still going and going and going. So I'm actually trying to currently train him, or him, trying to train the plant to go over here. But he's being pretty adamant that he wants to come this direction towards the camera. So we may just let him do what he wants and just kind of spiral all around, and maybe even wrap around here and around the pole too, just because based on his current growth, I think he's, from end to end, he's probably close to 3 or 4 feet stretched out. And it's only going to get bigger too, as long as I continuously watch it and kind of manage it. make it have places to go at least. I think it's gonna get pretty big, so I'm excited about that. We have our avocado, which hasn't really changed very much since last week. It does appear that the shell, not those two right there, but right here, if you can see, yeah, you can kind of see that little crack right there. That wasn't there before that I saw, at least. I looked through the video and I couldn't see it in the last video. But I think that crack is probably going to mean that it's starting to split, which is a really good sign for an avocado. One of the last things we're going to show you today is going to be the Reaper seeds. I was a little bit worried about this one on the right, just because when I picked it up to water it, the stem itself would flop back and forth, so I thought that it had broken down there. I kind of just let it get, I gave it some more time, and as you can see, it still does it a little bit, but it doesn't go back and forth as violently as it used to. So I think it's still trying to root. There's no roots on either of the bottoms, so still waiting to see those. And then the second I see those, these will be planted into more of these mason jars, because I have 7 more right there, and then as you can see up there, I probably have, what's that, 11? I think 11 bottles up there, or 11 mason jars up there as well. I'll be doing the same technique with those that I did with these, and then planting these guys. So as I said previously, that the peppers were not the last thing to be planted. I actually have quite a few seedlings. We're going to bring these over here into the light just to have a better view. As you can see, I'm charging my battery now. Gonna get that out of the way though. Alright, perfect. So this is going to be a little bit tricky to describe, but what we have going is this row, these 3 right here. Oops, goodness, break it already. These 3 right here are the cherry tomatoes. We have rosemary right here, which takes a little bit longer and is completely understandable why it hasn't gotten as big as all the other ones yet. So we're still waiting on those to pop through. This guy right here, these 3 are basil. So excited about that. We're going to have a nice crop of basil again. And then these 9 right here, this cube of 9, is going to be 3 varieties of lettuce. I believe this one's romaine, I think this one's butter crunch, and I believe this is just the blend. And then the 6 down here, you can see this one's a pea shoot. These 3 are pea shoots, snap peas actually. So we're going to get those going. I'm excited because this guy's already really taken off, so is this one. It's possible that the growth is on the underside of the middle one, but either way we'll still have 2 plants for sure. And then no growth right here, just because I planted these, this whole row of 6 right here, I planted probably 5 days after planting all the rest of it. But this is actually going to be closer to like it's called a super steak. It's like a beefsteak. Is that right, beefsteak? I think that's right. Tomatoes. So it's going to be a larger tomato rather than having the vine of smaller tomatoes. So those are the seedlings I have going currently. I'm excited about that. And again, like I said, guys, I know these look a little dirty right now. They're kind of gross. But soon these will all be cleaned out. I've still got some net cups and those, as well as some more down here. So I think between all those net cups, I may only have to buy probably another 4 to 6 net cups, and then I'll be good to go. One thing I do want to point out too, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this guy down here. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and put him in one of these jars, and then I will take. Actually, I'll just leave it right there. And then what I'm gonna do, or what I have done, I should say, is from the paper that I initially had used to wrap these guys to prevent light, I've made these, which I'm not even sure if it's going to be able to focus on that. Well, kind of, I don't know. It is just I just cut 6 circles out of one of the piece of papers, as you can see. And what I'm planning on doing, in lieu of buying neoprene, neoprene? I believe neoprene, molds to put on them, I'm going to have these on there. And then also just snip actually I'll do a little quick demonstration. So this is going to be a little bit tricky with one hand, but what I'm going to do pretty much is just cut probably about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway, and centered it. I'm not going to make this cut right here, but you see what I'm saying at least, because those neoprene discs are, I think they're like $50 for 24 of them, and while they're reusable, this paper is compostable if it gets wet, so I'm not really worried about that. And I have now that I'm not using the cardstock for these, I have an unlimited supply of these, so I'm not worried about that. But again, I'm just gonna cut slits, and then it'll fit just kind of without a lot of the rocks. It'll just kind of fit over the stem, and I might have to cut it a little bit of a bigger hole for plants like the cucumber and even the kale, maybe peppers too. But again, so excited to have you guys here. The growth this week alone was awesome, especially with the new guys over here. Get one more look at those guys. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. I just want to again say, be safe out there. Wash your hands. Let's not infect anyone else if we become infected. I know that's a hard thing to ask, and it's doesn't really mean much coming from someone like me. But again, just do your best to wash your hands and be smart about the decisions you make here in the next few weeks, because it could mean more cases and that kind of thing. So we just got to be aware of what we're doing and how we're doing it. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please hit like. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit subscribe. And hit that bell as well, just so you get a notification every time I release a video. I will be recording videos throughout the whole all of Corona and everything as well. That's not going to stop me from posting videos, but again, I just want to make sure everyone's safe out there. Stay clean, stay healthy. Have a great day, guys. See ya.